Oh yeah, because they saw, a lot of my friends saw it from the beginning.
Yeah.
So they saw me in my college apartment, like packing orders and filming videos. And at the time it was kind of a joke. Like I remember being at this party one time when I was in college, and everyone, it was after I launched Bare Performance Nutrition, and everyone's chanting BPN, BPN, but not like friendly, but like making fun of me.
Yeah.
That's a joke.
Yeah. So Nick, start from the beginning, man. Let's talk about Ranger School and how that changed your mindset.
That was probably it was a pivotal point in my life.
Okay.
Right? Because up until that point, I wasn't really tested like I thought I was going to be tested ever. And this was this one point in my life where I had to go all in to become successful. So like my Ranger School story, I always talk about like you can put two different people in the same situation and their perception coming out of it will be massively different.
Massively.
Right? So like one person might pull away all these experiences and knowledge and say, well, that sucked, but it was a great experience. The other person will say, that was a waste of my time.
Yeah.
I'd rather be the person that says, well, how can I grow from the situation?
Correct.
Right? So I went into this school, and it's a 61-day course, and I went in knowing that I could recycle any of these phases. And I went in at a time during, it was called the Best Ranger competition. Mm-hmm. So if I recycled any phases, it was a 6-week holdover. So long story short, out of the 61-day course, I was there for 140 plus days. I was there for 4.5 months.
So it took you over twice as long for you to finish.
Yeah, I saw every season. I started in February and in July. So the things I took away from that school was like groundbreaking, earth-shattering that I was able to apply to the rest of my life. And it was like a pivotal point.
Tell me some of the things that you learned from it that you can apply to your life and to your business.
The big one was like going all in. So like up until this point in my life, like I said, I would dabble in things, and if things didn't work out, I was like, well, it wasn't meant to be. Yeah. And then when I went to the school, I was like, well, I have no other choice other than to go all in. And the cool part about it was there's no distractions from the outside world. You're not talking to mom and dad. You're not talking to your friends.
No influencers.
Yeah, you don't know what's going on with social media or the news. So this is one time where like there were 0 distractions, and there was one thing that mattered to me, and that was getting this tab. So I was like, everything that mattered from the time I woke up to the time I went to sleep, if we got any that night, was how do we get this tab? And I saw the success from it. So well, I finally put that tab on my shoulder, and I saw well, going all in and applying that mindset, it did great things. So why not apply that to the rest of my life now?
The rest of your life. Wow. And you did say, I think I see somewhere in your interviews before that you actually had to redo a couple of seasons, right? You know, you had to start over again because if you didn't pass, you had to start over again, right?
Right. So the first phase starts at Fort Benning. I failed because of patrols. So because it was the Best Ranger competition, I was a 6-week holdover. So I was essentially sitting in the barracks for 6 weeks, helping get Fort Benning ready for this competition. So I wait 6 weeks in the barracks, and then I go back into the school for another 3 weeks, pass, go on to the next phase. Second phase was in the mountains of Georgia, Dahlonega, Georgia, and I failed patrols on this again. So at this point, I'm like, I'm never getting out of here. I'm gonna live here the rest of my life. So I go back into that phase again. I pass, go to the last phase, which is Florida, the swamps of Florida. Pass, graduate. Finally saw like the light at the end of the tunnel.
Wow. So what you took away is just going all in. Whatever you do, be the best at it. Go all in. Don't dabble anymore. Because I see so many people these days just dabbling at one thing. They want to hit a home run from the get-go. And if they don't hit a home run, they quit.
Yep.
I see that a lot in entrepreneurs. Do you agree with that?
I mean, I was the same way when I started my business. I started my business in 2012.
Is that BPN?
Yeah, Bare Performance Nutrition. This was a year before I joined the Army. Yeah. I was in college. And I told my dad, I said, I'm going to make $1 million year one. And he just like laughed in my face. And he said, if it was that easy, everyone would do it. So I'm going to show you. Yeah. So year one, we did $20,000 in revenue. I was like, well, shit, this is harder than I thought. So I think a lot of people go into this thinking, well, if it doesn't work, it wasn't for me. And there's no ability to adapt or become resilient.
Yeah.
And I think being resilient and being able to adapt and figure out, well, these hiccups along the way, these road bumps, they're going to mold me into where I need to be. And I've had many of them.
I can't agree with you enough. I was doing an interview yesterday, and I said every setback, every bump, taught me a huge lesson. And I wholeheartedly believe that. You have to go through those kind of bumps, whether it's through business or personal, because at the end of the bump is a higher peak.
Absolutely.
It's a higher peak.
And you're able to appreciate all the things once you come out of that little rut. You're able to appreciate, look back, say, well, here's the mistakes I made. Let's not make those again. Let's work on and sustain the things that are working and constantly taking steps forward.
Now, I know you you did an Ironman.
Did an Ironman.
November, right?
Yeah, this past November.
November, right? And tell me what made you want to do that? I mean, I've seen pictures of you, you were swole.
I was hitting like 230 pounds.
Yeah, I've seen, you were like a bodybuilder, big muscles and things like that. And I know, I used to compete at the highest level in bodybuilding, and I couldn't even do a 5K.
Right.
I remember doing a 5K one time, and I thought I was going to die. And it was a joke. Me and my friend bet, and we lost a bet, and we had to do a 5K as bodybuilders. And literally 2 blocks into it, we're huffing and puffing. So going from somebody who's 230 pounds and kind of muscle bound to a triathlon.
Right.
What switched?
Well, when I was in the Army, I ran because I had to run. Right. Like I ran because I was a leader. I was an infantry platoon leader, and I ran because I had to lead this platoon. So it was expected of me. I never enjoyed it. I looked at it as like this thing I just had to do as part of my job. And then when I transitioned out of the Army, I remember literally the day I got out, I said, I will never run a day in my life again. So I'm going to pack on size, strength. I got like 230 pounds, like just focus on body.
And shredded too.
Yeah, so lean too. And as I transitioned out of the military and I stopped running and I was focused on this bodybuilding, powerlifting, a part of me felt like it was missing. And I think it's not that originally I was in love with running, but I was in love with the challenge of struggle and pushing myself. And something humbling that made me work towards it. I think it's the same for being an entrepreneur. Like you search out these difficult situations, and you take the road less traveled. Take it head on. So running was that thing, and it started with marathons, and then some physical fitness challenges. And one day I was like, I'm gonna do an Ironman. I didn't know what it was. I signed up for it, and I realized, okay, this is a 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike ride, and a 26.2 mile run.
So I would go on a record probably and assume the run was the easiest part.
The run was the easiest because I had a background in running.
Yeah, background.
Swimming, I remember I was like, okay, I gotta learn how to swim. And I rode bikes like growing up, but not cycling. So I hop in this pool. I'm like, all right, I gotta swim 2.4 miles for this course. Let's see how far we can go. And I go 25 meters down this pool. And I come out like gasping for air. I was like, yeah, I don't know if I can do this. So
I'm laughing because I can't even imagine.
Yeah, I was like completely overwhelmed because, you think you're building up the size and strength over years. Put someone in the water, you're like, I'll muscle through this. Yeah. Well, you can't muscle through certain things. and swimming was that one, it was very humbling that I had to learn how to do.
Yeah. Wow. So would you say out of all the three, which one is your favorite and which one is your least favorite?
The run's my favorite, and that's why I'm still running now and running even more. My least favorite was the bike.
The bike.
I fell in love with swimming once I was able to swim, because then it was fun. I never really fell in love with the bike.
Wow. Okay. The bike, so it was the suckiest part is the bike. All right. So you talk about a concept which I love. I always say choose difficult. Mm-hmm. I always say choose a difficult route. Don't choose the easy route. Always, if there's a more difficult way, take the difficult way.
Absolutely.
And you have a concept that says embrace the suck. Can you talk about that a little bit? How'd you come up with it?
Yeah, so embrace the suck is a term that's been used in the military for
it is?
Decades and decades and decades. The way I found out about it, it was 2009. I was in the Army ROTC program, and my friend went to basic training. And he was like sucking during basic training, and he went into this porta potty, and on the wall in Sharpie was embrace the suck in this porta potty. And he was like, wow, this is super fitting. So he graduates basic training, comes back and tells me this. And it just it stuck with me. It stuck with me where it's like it made so much sense. And it made sense when I was starting my brand, and then it made even more sense during Ranger School, and it made even more sense scaling the business and putting myself through some physical challenges. And it's at that point of so many people are looking for the fastest, most streamlined process to get where they want to be.
Yeah.
And I learned through all my mistakes, all my failures, that I've grown so much every time that I'm running head on, I'm feeling good, I hit the wall, and I get punched in the face, and it knocks me back. But I grow so much. I go 2 steps forward after that.
No doubt.
So I search out for these situations where like I know it's gonna suck. I know it's gonna be hard, but if you embrace it, you're gonna learn from it.
You have that little psycho brain.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That you know, you look for difficult things to do because you know you'll learn from the difficult things. You know, and that's something like you almost got to be psychotic. You know, because human nature is you want comfort.
Right.
You know, we seek comfort. You know, nobody wants to go run right now where they can sit on the couch and watch Netflix. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, nobody wants to, you know, go on a diet to lose weight and eat chicken and broccoli and give up ice cream. You know, but we know that by you taking the hard road, that challenge is that's how you're going to grow and take yourself to the next level. And I love that. I absolutely love that. Real quick, you know, first of all, my deepest condolences to you, you know, for your mom.
I appreciate that.
You know, I know you were so close to her. I've seen some videos of you and her, and I know she fought a battle with ovarian cancer.
Right.
You know, what did your mom's fight with ovarian cancer teach you? And how do you apply that to your daily routine or daily life?
Yeah, so my mom's fight with cancer was fast.
Yep.
Like she was diagnosed last like January, February.
Was it like stage 4 or was it?
It was like stage 4 ovarian cancer. And when I found out she had cancer, I just assumed she's gonna go through chemo, she'll be better, she was gonna retire and then move down to Texas with me and my brother. I assumed that was the route. And then it was so much worse than we all thought it was. So she got surgery, and the surgery was supposed to remove all of it. They removed as much as they could, and it grew back like wildfire. And then 6 months after she was diagnosed, she passed away. So it was so fast and so quick. And you know, I didn't really appreciate all the things that she taught me until I realized after she passed away. So I was always super grateful for what my mom was doing and what she taught me, because she was in the special education department. She taught Special Olympics and special education growing up. And after she passed away, one of her friends came up to me and was like, you know, your mom was so different because she found her passion so early on in life, and she fulfilled that literally to the day that she died. And it made me think, because I look at people, I go into stores or restaurants or businesses, and I look at people and I realize they're doing things a lot of people are doing things they're not passionate about.
Yeah,
they're
99%.
just going through the motions.
Yeah.
And I think to my mom, like, man, she woke up every day, didn't feel like a job. She went to work, she worked with these kids, changed kids' lives. And I realized, well, I have that same gift. Like, I found my passion early on, and now I'm constantly fulfilling it, which is I'm so grateful for it. You know, so that she taught me, like, find your passion and do everything you can to fulfill that passion.
Wow. Let's talk about your entrepreneurship journey.
Right.
You know, I know that, I think, I've watched a video, you said that you weren't even thinking about monetizing on YouTube or doing any of the social media. You did a video, kind of like, as your journey of working out, types of working out, anything, nothing of it. You did a video, you went away, you had no access, you come back, the video, went semi-viral, got 1 million views.
Yeah.
And you were like, whoa, can you talk about that a little bit? Because this is fascinating to me.
My journey and story, it's like, I think that's why we have such a strong brand and community behind it. I started my brand in 2012 in college. And the way I started this is I had to go to this mandatory training between my junior and senior year of college for the military. It was called LDAC. And when I went to LDAC, I assessed very well. My evaluations were great. And I came back with like this newfound confidence. Right? It was like the first time in my life that like someone told me like, you're good at this. I came back, I was like, well, shit, I'm gonna start a business. I'm gonna do what I always wanted to do. Because in college, I was mixing up pre-workout supplements, my own supplements, and I was going to school for nutrition. And I decided, I'm gonna start this company. So I took out a $20,000 loan.
Did you go to the bank or to your dad?
I went to the bank, but there's this option. So there's this military associated bank called USAA.
Got it.
And between your junior and senior of college, you can take out what they call a pre-commissioning loan.
Okay.
So it's $25,000, and most of my friends were using this money for engagement rings,
Parties.
new cars, yeah, like parties before going to the Army, just like blowing it. So I was like, this is my golden ticket. I'm gonna take out this money, I'm gonna start this business. You have to make your first payment for 18 months, and it's a low interest rate. It's like, all right, I'm gonna get this $20,000 loan out. I'm gonna build this brand, I'm gonna make $1 million, I said. So I took out the money, I spent all of it on inventory. I didn't have enough money to pay anyone to do my site or my labels, so I got friends to do it for free. All super amateur in the beginning. You know, I was just like working off of what I had.
You know what? That's the best. When you don't have money, then you have to be resourceful.
Right.
You know, and I think that's actually some of the best thing. Even though now you have money, I think sometimes when you have a lot of money, it dulls the resourcefulness.
Oh, absolutely.
You just throw money at it, or you want to forget about it, right? And digging deep and figuring out how you can make it better without just throwing money at it.
Yep. Like I didn't have anyone to pay to do like the photo shoots. I dieted down into the photo shoot. All this stuff on my own. Launched the brand, and like I said, we did $20,000 that first year. Pretty much because I was offering 50% off discounts. I was pushing to friends. I was trying to get people to try it. And the first like 3 years was like that. And it was tough because a year after starting that brand, Bare Performance Nutrition, I joined the Army. I went to Fort Benning, Georgia for a year of training, in and out of the field all the time. And after that, I got stationed at Fort Hood, Texas. And when I got to Fort Hood, Texas, I started a YouTube channel. So most people do it the opposite way. They start social media, then they start a brand. I started a brand, then I started social media. And I started this YouTube channel not because I wanted to build a brand, but because I got to Fort Hood, Texas. My unit was in Germany at the time. I had like 3 months till I got back. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna start this YouTube channel. I'm gonna document my training, my nutrition, and build this community. And along the way, I started sharing my journey of building the business. I started slowly integrating my time in the military of what I was doing. In that video you're talking about, I was in South Korea, and at the time I had like 30,000 YouTube subscribers. And I filmed,
which is still really good. I mean,
that was after like 2.5 years of building it up.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and I was happy with it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to film one day. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna film a day in my life. A day in the life of an infantry platoon leader. And I interviewed my NCOs, my non-commissioned officers. I filmed the PT session. I interviewed my platoon sergeant. And I posted it on YouTube, not thinking anything of it. Went to the field and had limited access to my phone in the field. So I'm in the field, I'm refreshing my phone. I see like this video is like 10,000 views. I'm like, oh crap, like that's pretty good. And like a few hours later, refresh it, 50,000 views, 100,000 views. And over 30 days, that video hit 1 million views, and my subscribers went from 30,000 to 80,000.
Wow.
So I mean, you'll see videos get 1 million views all the time.
Isn't that crazy? And it was a video that you did in a hurry. You really didn't think much of it. You just did it, you know, in a wit. And those are some of the videos that get the most response. Because sometimes, like, I can do a video and I can have a whole production, do it perfectly, you know, that kind of stuff, and it doesn't crush. And sometimes I just do a selfie video. Hey, here's what we're doing. Next thing you know, it just goes viral.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy?
I think it's real, it's authentic, it's genuine, and people feel that.
Absolutely.
So that really kickstarted my YouTube channel. A lot of people found me through.
So you have like what, close to 400,000 subscribers now?
Yeah, now it's like 355,000.
That's crazy.
So I learned from that, and the way I really built my brand, my business, was I got stationed in South Korea for a 9-month rotation, and I went back to that lesson of going all in that I learned in Ranger School, and I applied that to building the brand. Because when I got to South Korea, I was making like $2,000 to $3,000 a month with my business.
You're balling.
I thought I was balling, yeah. And my goal was, I was like, I'm gonna make $10,000 a month with my business by the time this 9-month rotation's over. Yeah. I didn't watch any movies. I didn't hang out with anyone outside of work. I didn't watch any TV shows, listen to music, no video games, no distractions, literally zero. Every waking minute outside of my time in the military, because my job in the military was priority, every waking moment outside of that was spent building the brand.
And while you were doing that, what was some of your friends and colleagues were doing?
Oh, going out, partying, like blowing money.
You know, didn't they think you were the weird guy?
Oh yeah, I was the antisocial guy, right? Like I was the guy that like didn't want to do fun things, but I was so focused on what I was doing that within 2 months we were able to make that $10,000 a month.
How, do you still see those guys and hang out with those guys or keep in communication?
Some of them, yeah. I mean, friends from college.
They're probably like, damn, Nick, you really did it, huh?
Oh yeah, because they saw, a lot of my friends saw it from the beginning.
Yeah.
So they saw me in my college apartment, like packing orders and filming videos. And at the time, it was kind of a joke. Like I remember being at this party one time when I was in college, and it was after I launched Bare Performance Nutrition, and everyone's chanting BPN, BPN, but not like friendly, but like making fun of me. Yeah, as a joke. Yeah. And I remember sitting there like, yeah, I'm working for this, man. And then to scale it, well, no, those people aren't reaching out to me anymore.
So let's talk about scaling now. Okay, you started, you started, you were, when you were in the military, you were working on building this business. Tell me how it grew and what was some of your biggest obstacles starting out first, and maybe throughout the process, what were some of the biggest obstacles and roadblocks?
Yeah, I mean, I think obstacle in the beginning was I had supply and no demand, which is a massive issue.
That is a massive. How do you overcome that?
You got to create demand for that supply.
So how do you create demand? By doing more videos, more educational stuff, by just going out there and meeting, talking to people.
Yeah, so you don't have to, but it's easier to create a warm audience and market to a warm audience. So cold audience is like prospecting. You're trying to sell someone something that's never heard of you, never came across your stuff. Warm audience is like they've seen your stuff, they've heard your story. Now you're remarketing to them. So my concept from the beginning was, well, let's do this as organic as possible because we don't have much money.
Yeah.
So let's build this community around the brand that wants to invest in the brand, that wants to be a part of the brand, our mission, our vision, what they believe in. So we built this community online through social media platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that. And that's how we really started getting, launching off the ground, as people were connecting to our story and our mission organically. And as we started to grow more, I mean, that was the initial obstacle, like creating demand for the supply. And as we started to make some money, the second big issue we ran into was cash flow.
Yeah, that's hard to manage, especially when you don't know about it. By managing inventory, by managing inventory and managing expenses and all that, we still struggle with that. Even as a big company, man, you're like, wait a second, accounts receivables versus account payables. And how did you overcome that? This is for me.
Yeah, that was tough because right after I transitioned down to the Army, we signed a lease for a warehouse. Because up until this point, we were packing orders out of my house. This 1,100 square foot house. It was me and my brother and a friend. We had boxes in every room. We had air mattresses on the floor and boxes around it. We were packing out of one room. Like tractor trailers were coming into this residential neighborhood, dropping off pallets, and they're like, hey, we can't do this anymore. Like, you can't be getting pallets dropped off at a house. So we signed a lease for a warehouse, which was a massive expense, obviously.
How big was the warehouse? How much was the lease?
The first warehouse was 6,000
pretty big.
Square feet. And when we moved in there, we only had a few pallets of supplements, but that almost manifested and forced us to grow into it.
Yep.
And that's what I love. It's like, when I love warehouse space, because a bigger warehouse means I need to find solutions to fill it up and outgrow it.
Fill it up.
So the cash flow issue happened because we now created all this demand, but we didn't have the supply to match it. So, supplement industry, with most manufacturers, you have like 12-week lead times. We had like 10 to 12-week lead times at a time. And we had no terms because we weren't a very established company yet. Yeah. So I would say for example, I'd place an order for pre-workout. I put 50% down, and they'd hold that cash for those 12 weeks while it's getting manufactured. And then before they shipped it, I'd pay the other 50%. So I'd pay for all the inventory before I received it. And then we'd get it in and we'd sell out of it sometimes in 7 days. Yeah. So I'd sell out, and now I'd have to place another PO, and now we're out of stock for this long time.
And it takes like 60 days, something like that.
Yep.
Usually, it's not like you can, order more from a manufacturer. It takes time.
Right.
And I never knew that. It's not like you can go to the manufacturer and pick up some more.
Yeah.
And that process, by managing the time and managing the orders and managing the cash flow, it's a science.
Oh yeah, it's stacking production orders. But then if you're stacking all these production orders, you're running out of money because you don't have the money. They're just holding on to it. So we ran into this issue where we're constantly running out of inventory. And people were getting pissed because you don't have products for me to buy. Like, why would I buy from you? I'll go somewhere else. So we slowly started to build our way out of this just by stacking POs, placing larger production orders. And after a year, we dug our way out very slowly. But we were super resourceful at the time too. Like, we weren't spending money on anything else other than digging out of this rut. And once we dug out of that problem, then we started spending money on advertising. Because up until this point, it was all organic.
And did you ever get any influencers to do you do influencer marketing or anything like that?
Yeah, so we brought our first athlete on, like full-time athlete, 2017.
Well, so you launched it in 2012?
2012.
So 5 years later was the first time you brought in like an athlete or somebody you sponsored.
Yeah, 2017 was a big year because 2017 was the first year we did 7 figures. Mm-hmm. It was the first year we brought on an athlete, and it was the first year I started paying myself. So I didn't pay my...
Wow, so you worked for 5 years for free.
Right.
Love that.
Even
a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people think that they're going to start a business and get paid and get paid and get paid. When I hear stories like yours, where you literally worked for 5 years, you didn't go to parties, you didn't go, you were antisocial, according to your friends.
Right.
You know what I mean? You were packing out of your 1,100 square foot house or apartment, and after 5 years of putting all this work, you finally saw a paycheck.
Yep.
Which is crazy. Most people like after a year, I'm not getting paid, F this, I'm out. And that's why most people are just going to be average.
Yeah, the interesting thing too is my first employee was my brother. He moved down from Pennsylvania to Texas, and he graduated college. He got a full-time job, was paying pretty well. He had it for 6 months. And I called him when I was in South Korea, and I said, hey man, will you come work for me? You have to move the business from Pennsylvania to Texas. It all fit in a U-Haul truck at that time. I can't pay you, but you can live in my house for free. And he was like, I'm in.
That's awesome.
So he moved down. I couldn't pay him for a little bit. He was living in my house. He was using my truck. And he was packing all the orders out of my house until I got back. But when I got back, 2017 was another pivotal year for us. Obviously, we did our first $1 million. But even though we were sucking, we weren't sleeping, we were constantly overworked, it was like waking up every morning on Christmas. That's the best way to describe 2017. It was like every day was a new day, and we were so hungry for what we were doing.
What made that shift? Why 2017 was such a great year? What did you do different?
I think it was a few things. One, I rebranded the year before.
Okay.
So I completely changed our labels. I learned how to code a website because I couldn't pay someone, so I learned how to code a website, rebuild our entire website, kind of restructured the brand to look more professional. And I also transitioned out of the military that year. So I went from having like a full-time job and two full-time jobs essentially.
So you really concentrate and going all in.
To be able to concentrate.
Got it. Did you do anything other than that as far as marketing it differently?
No, I mean, we tried to take a more professional approach, upgrade our cameras and our editing software, and like.
And your videos, man. I mean, the videos that you put out, man, is absolutely perfect. The background music, the B-rolls and everything else like that. I mean, I was watching it this morning, and I was like, wow, man, this is pretty cool. I was actually going to show Isaac, my video guy, man. I'm like, man, guys, we got to do this. This is really cool.
Yeah, my video guy Jordan, he absolutely he kills it. And we spend it all day with each other.
Yeah.
So we're best friends, but that's super important aspect is media. Like you need media.
Absolutely.
And finding a team that understands your vision and your mission and what you're trying to create and the perception that these videos give off, it has to be on brand.
100%. So 2017 to 2018, you're still growing. 2018 to 2019, you're still growing.
Yep.
You said you started putting some money on ads.
Yeah, so we started running money with an advertising agency, and I learned a lot through.
Tell me the mistake. I want to know. I can look into your eyes because I've made a lot of mistakes like that too. Tell me some of your big expensive mistakes when you started scaling, where you blew a lot of money, and you thought something was going to work and didn't work. Please tell me those.
Yes, I think with paid advertising, it's an interesting field because there are agencies everywhere that, hey, we'll deliver this for you if you pay us this, and they'll promise you the world. But when you start seeing the results aren't the world. So you have to really take it with a grain of salt what these companies are going to promise you. If you can bring that in-house, yeah, bring that in-house. But there's experts out there that we outsource that to.
Yeah.
So advertising and paid advertising, you obviously want to have a good return on investment for the money you're spending.
100%.
And in a market like the fitness industry or specifically supplement industry, it is competitive and everyone is doing the same thing. And where we really started to stand out and grow and scale, and we've doubled revenue every year after 2017. Where we really started to stand out and scale and grow is where we took a proactive approach rather than a reactive.
Yeah.
So I look at this market and I say, well, here's company A, B, C, D, E. They're all doing the same thing. They're all marketing the same. Their message is all the same. They're not trying to do anything to stand out. So me and my team stepped back and we said, let's take what everyone's doing and do the opposite.
Love that. Love that. You know what? Warren Buffett said that if you want to be successful, look at what everybody's doing and do the opposite.
Right. So we're like, okay, everyone's trying to be trendy. Let's not do trendy. Everyone's doing like these sweet, trendy edits that have no story. Let's not do that. Like, what are people connecting with? And I think you really have to analyze your metrics and what's performing.
Tell the story.
Storytelling is the number one most important thing.
I agree.
Behind a brand.
I agree because people want to know why you're doing it, not what you're doing.
Yep.
They want to know the why behind the what. And I can't agree with you more. And no matter who you are, no matter what background you have, there are people that's going to identify with you. So just trying to blend in and doing what everybody else does is the surest way, the fastest way to failure.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
So you started doing storytelling. Like, give me an example.
So I learned storytelling by when I was in Korea. Go back to this. I was like, I need to learn how to make my videos better. So I started following Casey Neistat on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And I was like, why is Casey Neistat so successful at YouTube? He is the ideal, perfect storyteller. He has you engaged. The story flows. He can tell a perfect story. So I learned, well, I need to learn by watching Casey's videos how to tell a story. And I learned through him, just watching his stuff, well, this is what works. This is how you connect with people to get a message across. So like our motto and our phrase at Bear Performance Nutrition is go one more.
Go one more.
So, and like I got a tattoo on my arm, and there's hundreds of people now that have this go one more tattoo on their arm because they connect so well with it. It's constantly, whether it's football or fitness or being an entrepreneur, business owner, anything, going one more in everything you do, that compounds, right? It's like being able to tell a story behind what your brand does, what you represent, your values, your mission, your vision, through a story. It's untouchable after you learn that.
I would love to see some more of your ads and things like that, because I think that so many people are doing it wrong.
Yep.
So many people are just trying to talk about the product. You know what I mean? You can't talk about the product. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I'm sure your products are amazing, but there are other products that are comparable.
Right.
You know what I mean? So why would somebody choose your product over somebody else? I think it's because somebody will identify with you, your story, and everything you do. Now, speaking of your products, what's so different about your products?
So we do a few different things. In the beginning, when I entered the market, there were all these proprietary blends out there. Yeah. Everyone's doing proprietary blends. My first...
Because they hide what's in it, really, right?
Right. So a proprietary blend is essentially like, I can say there's 10 grams in this pre-workout. Here's the ingredients, but I'm not going to tell you how much of each ingredient is in there. It's called pixie dusting. You can put a lot of the cheap ingredients in and a little bit of the expensive ones in. So when I started, I was like, okay, well, I see the market's going this way. Everyone's doing proprietary blends. I'm not going to do proprietary blends. Now, not many people are doing blends anymore. So what makes us stand out? So quality. I take our consumers, our audience, our viewers behind the scenes at manufacturing facility on a regular basis. So we'll go there, we'll film videos. We have a manufacturer in Texas and one in California. And I'll show them like, hey, this is what the ingredients look like when they come in. This is how we test them for accuracy. This is how we blend and bottle the products. This is how the product is sealed. This is how it's tested afterwards. So we are transparent with the entire process.
That's huge, because in the supplement industry, that's pretty much non-existent.
Yep. So we recently were like, how do we take this a step further? So we got, not all of our products are through it yet, but we have a lot of our products going that are certified, and we're finishing the entire line here soon. but it's called BSCG certified, so Banned Substance Control Group. So essentially, every time we run a product, we send it off to BSCG, which is based out in California, and they test it for banned substances and to make sure it's drug-free. So now we can say, hey, if you're an NCAA athlete, if you're a professional athlete, if you're military, CrossFit, law enforcement, you can...
Anybody who's subject to testing.
Right, you can take this and be confident that it is certified drug-free, banned substance-free. So we did that for peace of mind of the customers. So it's constantly, how do we improve the quality for and improve the transparency for the consumer? Flavors is something we've always put a lot of emphasis on.
Awesome. So what's your favorite flavor of protein you have right now?
Probably the fruity cereal. It tastes like,
yes,
it's spot on. That or our milk and cookies.
Okay.
So flavor is something we've always put a lot of time into. And then customer service is where we get all of our feedback. It's like, you try to ship it so fast. Like, your customer service is on point. Well, you got to compete with Amazon now, right?
Yes, for sure. Amazon, I mean, everything is now, is super fast. I mean, and if something's now taking 5 days, man, they're not going to order from you again.
Right.
People want things now.
Yeah, it's like, with the vision that I created with Bayer Performance Nutrition, the entire team is so on board with this mission and this vision that if orders don't get out that day, they don't leave work. I don't tell them they have to leave work. They're just like, hey, we're not leaving until these orders are out.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And I would want the same thing. I would want the same thing. If I was a consumer, I want my order right away.
Right.
Like you said, if Amazon's coming here today or tomorrow, why would I want to wait for something for 5, 6, 7 days?
Yep. So we put a lot of emphasis on customer service, logistics, and we do a lot of behind the scenes stuff too. A lot of behind the scenes content, whether that's through the YouTube video vlogs or Instagram stories. But like, people that buy from our stuff, they probably see the people that are packing the orders in the warehouse. They see the team on a regular basis throughout the content. So they truly feel, and they are, a part of the family.
Part of the family. I love that. Now, I know you have some crazy training things that you do. You do all kinds of different training. You're always pushing yourself. This morning, you showed up to yoga.
Right.
And you sucked right next to me. You know what I mean?
Humbling experience.
Look, man, as a bodybuilder all my life, I'm 46 now, and my mission has changed. My goals have changed. I have a 7-month-old baby, I have a 10-year-old, and I have a 6-year-old. So, having the biggest bicep is not literally my biggest, concern right now. My concern is to be able to not only live longer, but be more vibrant, be able to be more flexible, be able to run around with the children, have the energy. And believe it or not, my report card is now my blood work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How good, not how my measurements are, that's what my body fat, is how good my blood work comes back. How's my cholesterol, how's my, thyroid, how's my hormones and everything else like that. And so I've been taking yoga, and it was so humbling because I'm short and I'm kind of muscle bound.
Right.
And, when you're short and muscle bound, you never stretch in your life, you just don't bend. You came in today, first time in yoga, what was your first impression?
My arms were constantly burning from having them. I was like, when am I putting my arms down over my head?
Me too, man. The first part of the class is always the hardest one for me. My shoulders, man. My shoulders are like, gosh, man, this is crazy.
Yeah, but you walk in, and I felt good because it's warm heat. It's like, oh, this feels great. And then beads of sweat just like dropping off my face. It was humbling.
You came in with your shirt on, and I'm like, I don't know how it's going to last with the shirt on.
I had
to
take it off, yeah. But I love things that humble me.
Absolutely.
I think so many people, like, they only want to stick to what they know they're good at because they don't want to expose their weaknesses. Yeah. I expose my weaknesses on social media all the time.
You have to. Nobody wants a perfect person. Everybody has their faults. Everybody is, what they say, imperfectly perfect.
Right.
And it makes you more relatable. It makes you more human. And I love to suck. I like to do things. And I read an article and said the way you stay young, the way you keep your mind young, is by learning and trying new things.
Absolutely.
Because that's what fires synapses and neurons in your brain. Because as we get older, we try to want to just do what we know. And we're just not open to new things. My 7-month-old, my 6-year-old, my 10-year-old, they're all open. They want to learn this, I want to look at this, I want to do that, they want to do this. And as we get older, oh no, I just want to do this. If you left me alone and I didn't assess my life, I would have come in and I would have done, bench press, squats, deadlifts, curls.
Yeah.
That's what I'm on my life. But I realized, man, for me, to be able to take my body, my mind, and just to put myself in an uncomfortable position that we talked about, embrace the suck.
Oh yeah, I mean that's where my training is now. So, I did this Ironman, and when I did the Ironman, my goal was to do it between 12 and 13 hours.
Okay.
So I finished it in 11 hours 28 minutes.
Holy shit!
So I was psyched. I was psyched. I beat my goal time, and that was November 2nd. And then as soon as that was over, I always tell my fiance when I'm done with something, like, hey, I swear after I'm done with this, we'll take a little break.
Shout out to Stephanie.
Yeah, shout out to Stephanie. But as soon as I finish one thing, I'm constantly like, I've already signed up for the next. So as soon as the Ironman was over, I was like, okay, I want to qualify for the Boston Marathon now. So this is now a sub 3 hour marathon. And it's funny because I posted it, I was like, I'm going to train for this. And everyone, all the comments, you're never going to do it, you're never going to do it.
So what's, I know about Boston Marathon, so why is that so prestigious?
Because you have to qualify for Boston.
You have to qualify for Boston.
Any other marathon or most other marathons, you can just go run it.
To qualify, you have to do what, sub 3 hours?
For my age as a male, I have to run sub 3 hours, which is about a 6:50 minute per mile pace.
Ooh, for 26 miles.
It's moving. It's tough. And when I posted I was doing this, I'm training for this, all the comments were like, you'll never do it. You'll never do it. So last year I ran the Austin Marathon in 2019, and my time was 4 hours 15 minutes.
You have to shave an hour and 15 minutes off. That's no joke.
Yeah. So my first marathon of the season was a few weeks ago. It was February 16th. It was the Austin Marathon, and I ran it 3 hours and 24 minutes. So I shaved 50 minutes off.
That's really nice.
And I was pretty psyched about that. And all the comments again are like, you failed, you're not going to do it, you didn't. And the thing is, it's like building my business. Hey, this is not necessarily going to happen right away.
Yes.
But we're working towards this goal.
Yes.
And that's why it's a humbling experience. Like, I'm exposing what I'm not good at. But the best part about social media is I'm teaching you along the way what I'm learning. So all these people are like, and it's great because we held this event at the Austin Marathon. The Bayer Performance Nutrition team had the biggest team at the Austin Marathon this year. And all these people came to our warehouse the day before. We held an event and we all ran the marathon the next day. And the turnout and the feedback was, before watching your content, before you started running, I would have never thought about running a 5K, half marathon, full marathon. And we called it the Run One More Challenge, because run one more what you think you could have ever done. And all these people came up to us and said, because of you guys, because of the story, because of your mission and your content, I just finished my first marathon, and it was the greatest thing I've ever done. So people are thanking us, and it's like, well, that feels absolutely amazing to see people changing their lives, to take the steps necessary to improve or do what they never thought was capable.
Because you're showing them, even though you suck at it right now, you can improve.
Absolutely.
And just because you suck at it right now, I'm not going to quit.
Right.
Just because you suck at it right now, it's not like you're going to suck later at it. You do anything. I don't care who you are. You do anything enough times, you're going to get better at it. Even in 1 month that I've been doing yoga, I never was able to that one pose that you got to put your forehead to your knees.
Yeah.
I was out a month ago. I'm like, there's no way I could ever do it. In a month, I'm already getting there. And I know, I gave myself 3 years to master it.
Yep.
3 years. I know I'm not going to master it in a month. I know I'm not going to master it in a year. Well, give myself 3 years. I mean, not in a hurry. When you get your degree from college, nobody, when you go and apply for a job where somebody's like, you got a degree, all they care about is that you got a degree, not how long it took you.
Right.
Nobody asks you, how long did it take for you to get that college degree? No, they said, do you have it or not? Most people are like, oh, I don't, it's going to take me longer than normal, I'm going to quit and all that kind of stuff. And there's a huge lesson for that, and you're a prime example of it.
I think patience is something that enough people don't appreciate or have. A lot of people don't reach their goals or accomplish things they want to accomplish because they don't have the patience. And there's always an excuse they have of reasons why they stopped or they gave up. But it's commitment and patience.
Yeah, because they want immediate gratification. Everybody wants to go to the gym for a month and look like you.
Yep.
Everybody, wants to, go on a diet for a couple of weeks and just get shredded. And it's not that easy. Everything that people have achieved is through what I call a compound effect.
I love the compound effect.
The book.
I love
Yes.
I love the concept. I love everything about it.
Me too.
It's because it's such an overwhelming view when you're okay. This is where I am. This is where I need to be. And it's like, well, this is so overwhelming. I don't want to do it at all. I don't take the babies, but you slowly build on and do things. I like preaching the backwards planning approach, where it's, I tell people all the time, like, go to a whiteboard, and on the left side of that whiteboard, put where you want to be. And on the right side of that whiteboard, put where you're at right now. And then make ticks in the middle of things you need to accomplish along the way. And as you start working towards that goal, you're knocking these things off. But as you accomplish them, you're backwards planning towards your goal.
Absolutely. I love that. I do the same thing. You have your yearly goals, then you have your monthly goals, then you have your weekly goals, and then what do you have to do every single day to get 1%, one step closer to that ultimate goal?
Yeah.
It's like, let's just say, I learned that from bodybuilding. When I got ready for any bodybuilding show, I gave myself 12 weeks. I knew that if I put in this type of workout, this type of cardio, this type of diet, within 12 weeks, the only thing that's missing is time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? As long as I follow the process, I'm going to get there. And it's a lot of people want it. Oh my God, nothing's happening. Well, you haven't done anything yet. Let's talk about your book.
Yeah.
The 24-hour-a-day book. What is the concept? What does 24 hours a day mean to you?
So the concept behind 25 hours a day came about, and I tell the story in the book, but I was sitting in this classroom at Fort Benning, Georgia, when I was a young lieutenant, and we were getting mentored by these officers from the 75th Ranger Regiment. And I turned to this one captain in the 75th Ranger Regiment, and I asked him, like, if you had to give me one piece of advice to be a new officer in the Army, to lead soldiers, what would it be? And he stopped and he points to this guy across the room. I remember it like it was yesterday. He points to this guy across the room and he says, you see that guy over there? When shit hits the fan, when chaos strikes, he is as calm as the cool side of the pillow. I took a second to digest it and thinking, like, as life is going on, as all these things, as he's getting hit by gunfire and he's in a firefight and all these things, he literally just slows the day, he slows time down himself. He is in absolute control of the situation and time because he is calm and collective. Yeah. So I thought that's how I need to approach everything I need to do.
So true.
There's so many distractions, there's so many things going on a daily basis, and you become overwhelmed. As soon as the day starts, you feel like you're already falling down the hill. But staying calm, collective, focusing on what you have to do in order to get it done. So the book talks about my story of building the brand and the lessons I learned along the way in the military. And the reason I wanted to write it is because another story, I remember talking to my platoon when I was a platoon leader. It was after PT one day, and again, this is a scenario that I can remember like it was yesterday. And we're sitting back behind the company area, and it was a beautiful spring morning, and the sun was rising, and we were in a circle stretching out, and I was in the middle. And I was like looking at these guys, and it was right after PT ended, and I'm looking at them, I'm thinking in my head, some of these guys are smarter than me, they're more naturally skilled than me, they are born natural leaders, but they don't know it or believe it. And they have this mental and physical barrier where they keep hitting the ceiling.
They have a limiter under, they have this huge high performance engine, but they have a limiter on them.
Yep.
They can't rev past 4,000 RPM.
Right, their mind just stops them there.
Yeah.
So I think back to these guys all the time, like some of my best friends in the Army. My platoon was my family, I love those guys. And I just wanted them to have, and the book was written for them, but people like that, where it's I'm an average kid from central Pennsylvania who wasn't.
What part of Pennsylvania are you from?
Hershey area. It's called a small town called
I grew up in Sharon, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
The other side, I went to Penn State.
Yeah. I went to IUP.
Oh, that's all.
Yeah, it's crazy, small world. But I look back at these guys and I think, if someone could just, and I tried doing this, I was like, you guys, I told them this all the time, you guys have the potential to do amazing, great things. Don't think you don't. And just like me, I'm a regular kid, small town, wasn't super smart, wasn't super athletic growing up. But I realized, well, if I want to do something, I can do it. And there's no one stopping me but myself. And that's what the book was written for.
Wow. So for you guys who are listening, man, make sure you go check this book out 24 hours a day right here. Nick is just an absolute beast from his workout, through his marathon, through his story of just perseverance, not giving up, and just pushing through, man. I mean, you left all the limiters. You every single day you push your boundaries. You do things that you don't like to do on purpose.
Yep.
On purpose, because you want to learn more and you want to become more. Nick, for people who, haven't heard from you. Can you tell me where they can find out more about you, your supplements, and everything else that you offer?
Yeah, so on social media, it's Nick Bare, B-A-R-E, Nick Bare Fitness on Instagram. If you just search Nick Bare on YouTube, you'll probably see a video of me running or rucking or something.
Oh, yeah, I see. Yeah, great YouTube channel, by the way.
I appreciate it. And then our company website is www.bareperformancenutrition.com. We have performance supplements, pre-workout, proteins, green superfoods, multivitamins. Everything that I use and the team wants to use, we've created.
Awesome, man. Nick, thank you so much for being on the show, brother. I'm looking forward to seeing you grow much more.
I appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Hey, guys, if you liked today's episode, do me a huge favor. Go ahead and leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel, leave me a review, and tag a few friends that you think can benefit from what we shared today. Really appreciate it. God bless.